Challenges of national building. So, at the hour of midnight of 14th to 15 August 1947, India attained independence. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of Free India, addressed the special session of the Constitutional Assembly that night. This was the famous Traced with Destiny speech that you are familiar with. This was a moment Indians had been waiting for. You have read in your history textbooks that there were many voices in our national movement, but there were two goals almost everyone agreed upon. One, that after independence we shall run our country through democratic government, and two, that of government will be run for the good of all, particularly the poor and the socially disadvantaged group. Now that the country was independent, the time had come to realize the promise of freedom. That was not going to be easy. India was born in very difficult circumstances. Perhaps no other country by then was born in a situation when more difficult than that of India in 1947. Freedom came with the partition of India of the country. The year 1947 was a year of unprecedented violence and trauma of displacement. It was in the situation that India started on its journey to achieve several objectives. Yet the turmoil that complete independence did not make our leaders lose sight of the multiple challenges that faced the new nation. Mahatma Gandhi in 14 August 1947, Kolkata, said that tomorrow we shall be free from the slavery of the British domination. But at the midnight, India will be partitioned. Tomorrow will thus be a day of rejoicing as well as mourning. Three challenges. A broadly independent India faced kinds of challenges. The first and the immediate challenge was to shape a nation that was united yet accomplished of the diversity in our society. India was a land of continental size and diversity. Its people spoke different languages and followed different culture and religion. At that time, it was widely believed that a country full of such kind of diversity could not remain together for long. British of India began to be proved everyone's worst fear. There were serious questions about the future of India. Would India survive as a unified country? Would it do so by emphasizing national unity at the cost of every other objectives? Would it remain rejecting all regional and subnational identities? And there was an urgent question of the integration of the country of India to be achieved. The second challenge was to establish democracy. You have already studied the Constitution. You know that the Constitution granted fundamental rights and extended the right to vote to every citizen. India adopted representative democracy based on the parliamentary form of government. This feature assures that the political competition would take place in a democratic framework. The democratic constitution is necessary but not sufficient for establishing a democracy. The challenge was to develop democratic practices in accordance with the constitution. The third challenge was to ensure the development of the well-being of the entire society and not only the some sections. Here again, the constitution clearly laid down the principle of equality and special protection to socially disadvantaged groups and religious and cultural communities. The constitution also set out in the directive principles of state policy the welfare goals that democratic politics must achieve. The real challenges now was to evolve effective policies for economic development and eradication of poverty. How did independent India respond to these challenges? To what extent did India succeed in achieving the various objectives set out by the Constitution? The entire book is an attempt to respond to the question. The book tells the story of politics in India since independence, so as to equip you to develop your own answers to big questions like these. In the first three chapters, we look at how the three challenges mentioned above were faced in the early years after independence. Actually, focus on the first challenge of national building that occupied center stage in the years immediately after independence. We begin by looking at the events that formed the context of independence. This can help us to understand why the issue of national unity and security became a primary challenge at the time of independence. We shall then see how India chose to shape itself to a nation united by its shared history and a common destiny. This unity had to reflect the aspiration of people across the different regions and deal with the disparities and existed among regions and different sections of the people. In the next two chapters, we shall turn to the challenge of establishing a democracy and achieving economic development with equality and justice.